It's me again, Hank the Cowdog. Anyone who's ever owned a yellow lab will identify with that song. Because the first few hours you think that this is a perfect dog. But then he eats your iPhone. Or in the case of my wife, chews up her $900 Bernina sewing machine. I was worried about the dog's safety after that. Okay, well now you've had a little introduction to Happy Lab. The first night Happy's staying with Hank in the security division's vast office complex. He's sleeping under the gas tanks with Hank. And Happy wakes up in the middle of the night and tells Hank that bull has gotten out of the corrals where they left him overnight, and he is now in Sally Mae's yard. Hank doesn't believe it, but he looks down there, and sure enough, he sees this mysterious form in the yard. That's where we're going to start. It gets pretty scary, too. You're right, Happy. That is a bull in the yard.
Well, sir, I sure thought something was wrong, but I didn't want to do anything foolish.
Hap, there's nothing foolish about reporting a bull in the yard. You did the right thing.
Boy, that makes me feel better.
We've got a big problem. The first time we went into combat with this guy, we got skunked, and then you showed up with that bird cage on your head. That spooked him.
Reckon we ought to look for another bird cage?
There are no bird cages on this ranch. You found the only one in the whole county.
Gosh, what'll we do?
That's the question, isn't it? I began pacing, as I often do when I'm gazing down at the chessboard of life and trying to formaldehyde a plan of battle. If we went over the fence and stormed the yard, he would clean our clocks.
Maybe we ought to bark, reckon?
Hap, I'm in charge here. Don't strain yourself. We must alert the house, and unfortunately that means barking. That will expose us to danger on two fronts. Number one, the bull might tear down the fence and come after us. Number two, we could face an enraged Loper or Sally Mae.
Who?
The people in the house. They don't always understand the deeper layers of meaning when we bark at night.
Huh? You mean?
I mean they get really crabby when we wake them up. And we're talking about hostile and irrational, hissing and screeching and hurling threats and insults.
Wow. Maybe we ought to let it slide.
I'm afraid it's too late for that. What if the bull is still there in the morning? What if little Alfred walks out of the house?
I hear you. We've got to protect the kids.
Exactly. Happy, a lot of dogs wouldn't care, but you and I, we're different. We have a special place in our hearts for the little children.
Yes, sir. I get all teary-eyed just thinking about them.
Save it for later. There's a time for tears and there's a time to bark. This is the time to bark, and I mean bark as we've never barked in our whole lives.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
It was a touching moment, the two of us out there on the field of battle, moments before launching ourselves into combat. But we didn't have time to think about it. We had a job to do. I gave the signal and we crept forward. About 10 feet from the yard gate, I gave the signal to halt. And it was then that I noticed the cat. He was sitting beside the yard gate, staring at us with his weird, cattish eyes. Well, well, it's Hanky the Wonder Dog with a friend. Pete, we're on a mission and I don't have time for chatter. Happy and I are here to do something about that bull.
Oh, really?
What? Bull? There's a bull in the yard right over there. Oh, that bull. Stand back and try to stay out of the way. We're fixing to unload some heavy ordnance. Oh, good, good. I'll take cover. You do that. Or don't, I don't care. The cat disappeared into the shadows, and I turned to my comrade. That bull hasn't moved. It makes me wonder.
Oh, he moved.
He did? Are you sure?
Yes, sir. I'm sure. I'm pretty sure. He moved. I think I seen him move.
I studied Happy's face in the pale moonlight, and a thought popped into my head. This was the same guy who had confessed that he was prone to doing ridiculous things. Was there any chance? Surely not. Okay, this is the big show, what we've been training for all our lives. You stand over there and I'll set up over here. Take a wide, comfortable stance. On my signal, we'll cut loose with number 3 artillery barks.
What's that?
Your biggest barks, Hap. And don't hold anything back. If the bull comes after us, it's every dog for himself. Run for your life.
Yes, sir. Got it. I'm locked and livered.
What did you say?
I said I'm licked and livered.
It's locked and loaded, Hap. Get it right.
Okay, got it. I'm ready. You ever hear Lab bark at night?
Not that I can remember, no.
Wait till you hear this. After dark, nobody outbarks Lab.
Happy Lab turned towards the house and started blasting away. He didn't wait for my signal. I thought of scolding him, but remember that thick, heavy tail? Apparently when labs do their serious barking, they swing their tail back and forth. Maybe it has something to do with balance, but when that tail starts swinging, you need to back away and give it some room. I got whacked right under the jaw, and it did produce a spray of colored stars and checkers. Hey, you big ape, watch what you're doing. He didn't hear me, and by that time there was no calling him back. He'd gotten into a rhythm and was firing off round after round of barks every 4 or 5 seconds. The guy was awesome, and I say that as a dog who's pretty impressed by his own barking ability.
Settle up, settle up, settle up, settle up.